first topic is concerning the general news. Hello, Carlo. Hello, Carlo.
Hello, sorry for the delay.
Oh, we have just started. So concerning the general news, during next TSC, DT and Vigojnik wanted to present their host-based routing solution. So they already present this solution during the Sylva Dev Day, but here it's more to be a concrete proposal of collaboration with Sylva. So how we can manage a proof of concept, and then in second step, if there is a traction from the different members of Sylva, how DT can evaluate to move their actual open source code from their own repo to Sylva. So many topics to cover with Vic on this item if there is a common interest. So this is for next TSC. It's a little bit teasing. Feedback from the. Is there any other general news you want to share before going to directed fund? No? Okay. Concerning the directed fund, we had the board last week. I've noticed 2 points, but for the other participants, don't hesitate to add some. For example, Carlo and Naomi or Luis. So during this meeting, we evaluate the option to have a new Sylva Dev Day, which would require a new dedicated budget on this item. And we had also a brainstorm how we can draft together a long-term strategy around telco cloud. Is there anything else you want to add for participants?
No, I think you summarized it well. We were talking about the evolution, potential evolution. We started the discussions. Let's say I think it's going to be a long discussion.
Okay. Thanks. Now we're going to go to the governance topics. So is there any governance topic you want to manage on the different position of this project? Is there anyone as topic?
Kiliam and Nokia, Joni here. Would this be a good time to discuss regarding this work group for sustainability? Was it work group lead? But anyway, work group for what was the name?
Sustainability.
Yeah, it was sustainability, if I remember. Yes. So Nokia has had the chair or lead here, Soundara Kannan, and we have been on Nokia side worried that if Soundara is having bandwidth enough for this task, whether he is well available for this task. I'm afraid he has not been able to join often these TSCs. Maybe not that much of activity on this work group what we as a Nokia expected. So we tried to find a resolution within Nokia for this another person and that kind of thing. But currently we don't have anybody to propose. So our proposal is that maybe we have to give up this if there is any other a person or company who would be able to better lead this working group, unfortunately.
Okay, Uni. So what you mentioned is that Sundara cannot continue to lead this work group, and you are proposing that for next TSC we can propose a new work group leader on this topic.
Yes, that is my proposal. Correct.
So what I propose, and Naomi, please help me also to manage these processes. As I remember in the charter, we have no election for the work group leader, but I think we need to check.
That is correct. So the only official election would be for the TSC co-chairs. I'm not sure how you all selected work group leaders in the past, but we can easily apply the same type of election where we would just open nominations for someone to take over the work group 4 lead, and then you all would vote on it, and then that person would just take seat. So that would work perfectly fine, just to give everyone a fair chance if they actually wanted to become the working group leader. But you are correct, the TSC or the technical charter does not have a procedure for working group leads.
Okay, so you propose that we make it public that this position is open and anyone can apply. This is your point?
Yep, and I'm happy to take that action as well, if you all would like to open that election after this TSC meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Naomi, for this support. And we can thank Sundar because he led this work group since the beginning, and we know that it's time consuming. So Uni, please transfer. I'm thankful for this, and we hope that it can continue to contribute.
Yes, I can continue. Thank you. I will.
Thanks. Okay. Any other governance topic? No? So I will let the floor to Matthew concerning the work group 1, the cloud stack development.
Hi, everyone. First thing to tell that you now have the Sylva v1.1 available. So v1.1 is really about bumping Kubernetes versions. So now we support Kubernetes. The latest version we support in about Kubernetes is 1.28. And we've been deprecating the support for 1.25. So it's done. It has been tagged last Friday. And we can now focus on v1.2. In v1.1, we will also have a lot of improvement regarding upgrades. It has been tested a lot for upgrading both the management clusters and workload clusters. So it's not only a bump of Kubernetes, it's something that is more reliable. So Sylva v1.2, what I plan to put in this release, which is expected at end of June, is again a new bump of Kubernetes version to support 1.29 and deprecate 1.26. which will be end of life. And we will start working on some proof of concept first of RAN workload, because we'd like to start playing with immutable OSs for this kind of workload. We feel like this is the way it's going to be used in production with immutable OSs. We are not ready yet for supporting such OSs in Sylva, but we will start playing with it in the context of RAN use cases. So you moved to the top of the. You moved to the specific RFE. Indeed, just to tell you that we do have a request for announcement under review concerning the RAN DU, especially, which is a component of the RAN solution. So this is going to be the focus of the POC, being able to run this DU function on top of Sylva workload cluster. So it includes some needs for real-time kernel, some specific networking card, and some specific kernel modules. So we'll see how it goes and what has to be adapted in the Sylva stack based on what will be done for this POC.
Okay, So just to precise on this topic, that I've sent it also to some RAN vendors, so they can give a feedback if we are unbending all the requirements. So we can be able, after the release of this version, to test it in the validation center. And as mentioned by Matthew, the objective is not to have to be production grade this year, but more in 2025 for such deployment in the different regions or operators. Thank you. I go back to.
Yep. And we will keep focusing in this v1.2 version on testing coverage and improving the documentation, especially for a lot of features that are part of Sylva today, but not properly tested and documented. So we need to do better for that, and we will focus on that for the coming weeks. One other point is about Red Hat OKD clusters. So Red Hat is going to start working on this topic for exploring what need to change in Sylva for being able to manage some workload clusters based on Red Hat technologies. So the RFE is still under review. I feel like today it's an exploration topic. We can merge it as it is. I commented the RFE this way, but I know that other developers want to do a review of it. We briefly discussed that during the weekly meeting of Workgroup 1. But to me, it's good to go. We can transform that into a specific issue to start working on this feature.
Thank you, Matthew. And your last topic.
Yeah, just I told you that we like to revisit the RFE process to have something more reliable for better managing the roadmap and better understanding what has to be done for telling a feature is ready in Sylva. I think we should adopt. I think we plan to test the process until v1.2, and we can adopt it after v1.2, depending on the test we'll do.
Okay. Is there any question to Matthew? No. Just one on my side. The Sylva v1.1 has been released. Is there any blocking point yet identified?
We've been doing more testing on the upgrades, especially including longer on physical volumes for bare metal deployments. I think we found some minor bugs, and we will probably produce a minor release for fixing that. So you should expect a v1.1.1 to be available soon. But
Okay.
this is the only issue I heard about so far.
Okay, so it's minor or medium bugs, but no big bugs. Okay,
Yep.
Thanks. Our two other points. One additional comments. We've opened a new commerce channel because I see some new partners around the bridge. So on the Slack, there's a dedicated channel if you have question in your installation of the stack. So don't hesitate to use it. And also because Ericsson is on the bridge, we had the first contribution of the code from Ericsson also. And first test. So I think it's good to have a new contributor, active contributor on the code of the stack. Okay. And last, is there any question to Matthew? We will switch to the validation center work group. Luis.
Yes. Can you refresh the screen, please?
Yeah, the magic button. We prefer fresh news, you know.
Yeah, well, it's nothing new. Actually, no big progress in the last 2 weeks. Two things. The one thing is that we have 2 new workloads, 2 SDMs from Huawei and ZTE. These actually are pre-validated, let's say, so we know they will be running well. But they are following the process, the validation cycle process, and they were added in the backlog, so they will be probably completed, and we will have a report within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So that's something that we have progressed lately. Another thing is that after we presented the evolution intended for the validation center cycle in the Sylva Dev Day, we commented, well, we said we agreed all there that we will be adopting the CNTA, the Cloud Native Telco Initiative, as one of the entry points and the references for to check cloud nativeness of workloads. So we completed the analysis of the existing test catalog, and actually we actually ran some of the cross tests, the full tests for workloads existing there for one demo application, and we presented this in the periodic meeting. So moving forward and starting with these 2 new workloads that we have in the backlog right now, we will start running this for all the workloads to identify how cloud native they are, if there are issues, or if we can provide feedback to the CNTI or wherever. We are now adopting it, and we are actually assisting and participating to the CNTI meetings. Another thing that we have done is we have interacted with Working Group 3. I guess Working Group 3 will tell it as well, security, to review the way of working moving forward between Working Groups 3 and 2, where Working Group 3 basically defines the security requirements, and in Working Group 2, we will try to define how to test those requirements. So we have had an interlog meeting, and we will have this periodically, at least once a month. Then things that we are planning to do in the future is we will complete the validation of the existing workloads in the backlog, the 2 existing ones. We will run the cloud native test for these 2 at least. We will complete the deployment of the new platform in Telefonica. It's taking some time, but now we have the hardware installed and everything, and we are just installing the virtualization of the whatever is needed to set up the Sylva. And we will keep working on the automation, in this case, the automatic report generation, and also setting up or identifying the access issues that we may probably have to face and will resolve in order to allow the Orange platform to be registered in a common central element that right now is in Telefonica. So we will see in the future how to move it to a public environment so that everyone can get there, but at least in the first steps, the central automation portal is the one that we have deployed in Telefonica, so we'll see how to register other platforms in that one. Okay, so we are working on resolving this. It's basically an access issue, a VPN issue. And there's nothing relevant to share right now, and we have no decisions at this level for TSC. That's all.
Many thanks, Luis. In fact, there are quite lots of news. Any question to Luis? No, and we spoke just before about interaction between work group 2 and work group 3, so it's a good thing that we are switching to work group 3 concerning the security working group.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Guillaume. Okay, so what has been done since the last TSC? So if I remember correctly, last Monday there was the onboarding to Sylva of the company called Grey Matter. And we have interacted with them after their onboarding to see their proposition in terms of security, as they were quite interested in the working group. What we discovered during the meeting and their presentation is that they are more related to the monitoring of CNFs and the security CNF point of view. They have a service mesh capability inside their application to be able to track the dependencies also on the cloud infrastructure side. But unfortunately, their solution is not fitting our needs regarding cloud infrastructures because they are having a higher layer. On this, thanks to Matteo, we also started discussions with Deutsche Telekom to start to exchange best practices on airbag solutions for Sylva. And the plan is that for the upcoming working group meetings, Deutsche Telekom will have a dedicated slot to have this presentation. And here, when everything is settled in terms of time, I will also forward the information to working group 1 in case there are developers interested in checking the airbag solution. Yeah, and as Luis was mentioning that we started to have exploratory discussions to understand how to approach the security workload and find, at least on our side, to find the position on
You're on mute. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go.
Yeah, so I was saying it. Yes, we started the exploratory discussions, and we basically we discussed about the position we currently have towards the vendors of the CNFs of the workloads in terms of security. What are the requirements that they are coming towards us? And how exactly we want to position ourselves in coming with requirements, because it's a bit of a sensitive topic in terms of security, because nobody likes to not have root access when they are doing installation of deployments. But yeah, I mean, we are on the right path over here. In terms of next steps, I need to update a bit the goals of this working group, the text, and to increase more the transparency of the working group activity. So I started to add people on Slack and put there the information much easier. So the minutes of meeting also, we have it now on the wiki. Oh, it's not saved. I don't know. Yeah, so we're having more transparency of the activity, and yeah, that's pretty much all.
Okay, and you mentioned that I think you have already updated the goal of.
Yeah, but it was a last minute one. I mean, it's not very.
Okay, it's
nice.
the first draft.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Any question to Mihai? No. Okay, so definitely this working group is going in appropriate direction with more transparency. We have more feedback on what is managed, so it's useful for the TSC. Thanks, Mihai and the team for this. Concerning work group 4, I do not know if there was a meeting. Matthew has created a dedicated channel on sustainability. So you've got it now on the Slack. So Matthew added some people, I added some others. And they've got also now a dedicated repo in the GitLab if we want to publish some code. And it's definitely something that has been identified. Carlo, as you are also participating to some of this meeting, I don't know if you have some other updates.
No particular update. We are internally discussing how to contribute to the activity. We had this meeting, and I think we will have other discussion to synchronize the activity between the different possible contributors.
Okay. Thank you, Carlo. Our last work group, last but not least, concerning communication and adoption. So André is not here, so I've pinged today without any delay Julie if she can give some news. Julie,
Yeah.
if you have some updates.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you for accepting me for this one meeting. So about the future network, we were shortlisted, as you know, in the operator category, but unfortunately, we were not the winner. So I'm a bit disappointed, but it's still great that we were shortlisted. So it gave us a lot of visibility on LinkedIn, for instance. Our post generated a lot of likes and views, so we are really happy about it. I should mention also that Naomi on the board here did an amazing work on the Sylva website. It is still ongoing, but we are working on sub-pages and more content to curate the actual the current site. So feel free to send us your feedbacks. I'm also adding something about the Network X events. I don't see it on the on your to-do list, Guillaume. But actually, it will be pretty amazing for us because we want to host an event inside the Network X events with Etsy, and it will be, of course, centered around Sylva. So it would be a good. It would be very good for the project. And about your other categories, I think I'm going to fall short. I don't have anything to say about Sylva presentation at LF Energy Tech meeting on the 2nd of April because I wasn't there, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Carlo managed this topic, so he can give a feedback.
Okay.
We had this presentation to the energy TAC, and we requested feedbacks. We sent the material we presented. That was the standard Sylva presentation plus some suggestion on what could be the requirements from the energy community. But up to now, we didn't receive any specific feedback. During the meeting, there was an interest. In particular, what I got was that they could be interesting to have a tool that simplify the creation and management of Kubernetes clusters that typically they are building on their own, and it could be of interest to have a tool that is doing this work for them, or is helping them in simplifying this work.
Okay, thank you. Other topic, Julie, or we covered?
I think we covered everything, but if you have another question, please ask me, and I will try my best.
So, any other question to Julie? No. On my side, just want to add that during the Linux summit, the One Summit at the end of this month in San Jose, US, I think they will probably have some communication around the launch of OpenBAO. If you remember, OpenBAO is the alternative solution of HashiCorp Vault that has switched to a business license. And so during our last TSC, we validated that Sylva intends to embrace OpenBAO as a new Vault solution. So during the One Summit, they will officialize the launch of OpenBAO within the Linux Foundation Edge, and probably they will also highlight the synergies between Sylva and OpenBAO. So it's indirect communication about Sylva that we might benefit.
Perfect. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Perfect. Julie, I have a question for you regarding the event at Etsy. So is that the event that we are trying to have the second Sylva Dev Day, or are we still trying to decide what event to do in Q3 and 4? Because I am curious if we are going to want to move forward with that one or Open Source Summit Europe. And I know that the board and the working group had mentioned bringing it to the TSC to see if anyone else had an event that we should be targeting, or if we want to just narrow down one of those events and move forward.
Yeah, sure. So for me, those are complete Sylva Dev Day #2 and the Etsy events are completely different.
Oh, okay.
If I understood Dengwe correctly, because he wanted to be kind of independent, but if you think we should merge the events, I think that would be understandable, and we can propose it directly to Dengwe.
Okay, I guess my question is, what is going to be our role at Etsy? Are we just doing like a dev day, or is it a presentation? Is it a booth? Like, what are our goals for Etsy? And you may not know this. I'm just curious because I missed the last working.
So I might have some elements about it. Let me see.
And I can start to answer, and Carlo also, because we already participate at the last Etsy event, where finally Etsy, it's a standard bodies, but nowadays concerning cloud native solution, one of the outputs of the last Etsy NAV meeting was that the role of Etsy now is to support and to share best practice on the open source. So this is why we have no simple interaction with Etsy NAV.
Okay.
And I think there was another part of your question, Naomi, was do we think that we can benefit from the One Summit in Europe, in Vienna, to organize a new Sylva Dev Day event?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a relevant question. So I don't know how to proceed to converge on this decision. Is it at the TSC level, or do we want just to be first aligned on the communication work group? But we can have first feedback of the TSC if you.
Yeah, I think we were waiting. Correct me, Naomi, but I think we were waiting for your feedbacks also.
Okay, so we can organize the feedback from the different first the different members, and then if there are other participants who want to give their point of view. So concerning the members of the TSC, if you can put in the chat, what do you think about a Sylva Dev Day? So all the participants, sorry, of the bridge, if you can give a feedback on the chat, what's about having a Sylva Dev Day and benefiting from the One Summit. So it's the big Linux Foundation Summit in Europe. Please put it in the chat of the teams if you think it's a good idea, or if you have another proposal.
It's this one. It's Open Source Summit Europe. And then when is the Etsy event?
The Etsy event is, let me check. It will happen during the Network X, event. And the date, okay, 16 and 18 September.
Okay.
Of September, sorry.
Okay.
And actually, we will have a booth there, so I guess we will be present anyway, but the event will be in one of those 2 days.
Okay.
So Mihai give his feedback. We have a weighted vote from Orange. I see François Régis also, and I think for who do not know this this One Summit, it's also there that there is a dedicated room for OpenSSF Summit. So I think it's another opportunity to participate to both events. The security
And I
part.
guess too, one of the things to consider when we're choosing which event to go to is where most of our community will be at. So will most of the community be at the Etsy event, or will a lot of the community be at Open Source Summit, or is it kind of split across the two?
Yeah.
But it looks like right now we're more so leaning on Open Source Summit.
Yeah, to be very clear, sorry to interrupt you, Naomi. It's not the same participants at Etsy level. It's exec or very lead architect, whereas at Open Source Summit, you have also a real developer. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be frank.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think this is pretty good information for us to take back to the working group 5, just to discuss further and make sure we get our plans for each laid out, and then we'll take it back to the board.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So I think it was our last topic. Is there any other question or remark?
One topic about the next One Summit at I think it's San Jose next month.
Yeah.
I don't know who from Sylva is going to attend. I'm not sure we will have anyone from the TSC or whatever.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do not think we will have Sylva participants for this year.
I'm hearing that Telecom Italia may attend.
Yes. Hello?
Not the Open Summit, but just after is the developer summit where there is a NAFIO
The developer
meeting, and Federico has
LFM summit.
Yes, and Federico has been invited to a presentation on the integration between NAFIO and Sylva that has been presented at Sylva that day. But he will participate just.
My side.
Sorry?
I have sound issue. Was it only for me?
No, it's okay for us.
Okay, sorry.
Can you-
Carlo.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we do hear you.
Okay,
Thanks.
I was just saying that Federico is just going for this LNF developer meeting for this presentation and not for the Open Summit that is in the days before, I think.
Okay, so is there also any opportunity? I don't know if he's going to publish a LinkedIn post that the communication work group can rely this information, for example.
Yes. Okay. So when do you want it published? You?
Yeah, but it's not only me; it's also Carlo and Federico that need to feed you.
Well, I don't know if it has to be published before or after the presentation. What is
Can
better?
be both. It can be both. Huh?
Okay, I can ask Federico about the details on when, if there is already an agenda. I'm not sure that if there's already a public agenda, because I think that last week there has been an NEFIO TSC where they defined the agenda, but I don't know if it is already public. But
Okay.
we can provide the information about it.
Thank you, Carlo, to share this information, to contact Federico about this.
Okay.
Any other topic or question? Okay. Thanks all. I will send you the minutes after a quick review by the different leaders. And see you soon. Next meeting will be the 15th of May and will be animated by Carlo, and Vic Gojnik will present it at the end of this meeting, the host-based routing proposal from DT. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.